I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Good. Very, very good.
It's only the Christopher Nolan movie.
It's just like only the best thing that came out in 2020.
I'm sorry. I've only been watching Spanish films. And
Oh,
TV shows.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, we get it. Oh, my God. Helen lives in Spain. Oh.
Everybody, Helen lives in Spain. She's really, really cool and lives in Spain. Also, she lives in Spain?
I'm at risk for being investigated by the Spanish police, and I watch Spanish movies.
Selling poop.
She sells fecal matter, which is like an important thing to do.
Literal white girl shit.
But okay, I love saying. Okay, so the word for butthole in Spanish is ano, and the word for year is año.
Año. Do you just like switching them? Do you just switch?
Ano.
Oh, buddy.
Ano.
Hey, great. We're gonna start the episode and not talk about buttholes anymore. I mean, I guess unless we talk about buttholes in the episode, then we can talk about buttholes.
It's a very important aspect of human sexuality and human life.
I think we're gonna talk about buttholes this episode.
Only that's the topic.
Buttholes. Oh no! Did I pause it? Oh no! I ended it. Fuck. One more time. This is the best way to do it, I guess. Welcome to Slide Into My Podcast. Oh, God. Welcome to Slide Into My Podcast, the sex, love, and dating podcast where we interview random people that we match with on dating apps. Shit. What's the next part of this fucking script that I forget? Oh, my God.
We discuss weird and embarrassing stuff that's happened and regale each other with stories about romance, sex, and everything in between.
Thank you. My name is Austin. With me is my co-host, John.
Hey.
And our guest host today, Helen Stupid. No,
Hey.
just Helen. On the Zoom call, her name just says Helen Stupid. So I just was trying to,
Yeah.
Who did that?
I did that because you said your name was Poop Master, but I decided to call you Helen Stupid. Yes.
High degree of professionalism here at Slide On My Podcast.
Yes.
Our guest today, Ruth.
Hi.
Hello, Ruth. Welcome to Slide Into My Podcast.
Honored.
Honored?
Truly honored.
Truly honored.
First one to say that.
So how is before we get into the nitty gritty and ask Ruth a bunch of questions? How's everybody doing? John, how you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I might not go home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you guys at home, I don't know if you missed it, but there's a pandemic going on.
Shocker.
Yeah. So
Audible gasp.
So my mom has like a autoimmune disorder, so I don't know if that's going to be the smart move on my part to travel.
Yeah, because I mean, your other option is to travel and then to quarantine for a week and then get tested and then you can see her.
Yeah, which they're not going to if I choose a quarantine, at my house, they're not going to respect that. It's like
They're gonna come into the room and be like, "Hey, John, come out here."
Hey, just checking in on you.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, spit on me, daddy," and then they're gonna tell you to spit on them.
So there's this
as is your mom and yours relationship is where you spit on her and she calls you daddy.
There's this Icelandic artist who filmed his mom spitting on him over years. There's videos of this his mom just fucking hacking one in his face.
So fucking hot.
It takes place multiple years. It's
definitely something.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
So thank you for that, John. Everybody, we'll include a link to that in the episode description. So if you want to watch
Ragnar or something, so,
of course, yeah. So we'll include Ragnar's fucking drip scenes. Fucking
his
check out Ragnar's new drip. No, it's literal drip from his face. It's his mom's spit. It's gross.
His spit kink. His like high class avant-garde spit kink porn.
Ugh.
So
it's literally incest spit kink porn. It's great. Anyway,
it's like a combination of words that you didn't know. Like it's like good.
People have definitely searched before. I
felt like a Soviet era Splinter Cell. Like it's like I got activated, right? It's like this is like a random sequence of words that just make you feel like just provoke a automatic reaction in you. Like that was.
So John, what would your code name be? I know like the Winter Soldier was from Captain America. What would your name be?
What
for sleeper agent, Soviet sleeper agent? Everybody think of a name that your Soviet sleeper agent name.
Paralyzed donkey.
Okay, paralyzed donkey. Yeah, is there a reason for this? Just because it sounds funny.
I think it should be funny. Like your code name is just like something just like not badass. It's not like Perseus or like Pegasus or Orion. It's like no. You're like Squirrel.
Squirrel. You know? Helen, you have your Soviet sleeper agent name?
I love arthritis. I love the name arthritis. I think that's really fun.
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Calling arthritis.
John, I feel like yours would be good because your name is John. I feel like yours should be like Jaundice.
Jaundice.
Jaundice Maximus. Jaundice Maximus is yours.
So Helen, when you said I love arthritis, I thought that whole phrase was your sleeper agent name.
That's the activation name?
Yeah, that's the activation phrase right there.
I love arthritis. I mean, who's going to say that?
Exactly. Nobody will say it. It's perfect.
Who's going to say that? It's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. What would yours be?
Why did I just think of the phrase two dick samurai? But that's just what I thought of.
So good.
Because that's good.
Yeah, because I don't know. That's just what popped in my head. So I'm two dick samurai, which I feel, it is what it is.
What's your Soviet era? What's your sleeper cell name?
Soviet era sleeper cell name.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean it's like how they identify you, right?
I mean, in that case, they can just use my social media handle, my email address.
They can just use my social security number.
Yeah, my social security number.
Yeah, but the point is like not to identify you. It's not to be like, we're not like it's. So if anybody intercepts the information, you won't be like.
That's why that's why we all have social security numbers. So if the American government wants to activate any sleeper cell whenever they're traveling around the world, they just kind of, they just input your social security number into the database and you're activated.
Hit enter.
Yeah, hit enter.
That's why we have them.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into the episode. Ruth, can you give us a little bit of a background about who you are, or as John likes to say,
wait, what's your deal?
What's your deal?
What's my deal?
What is your deal?
Who are you?
Have any deals?
Who am I?
Give us a little bit
going on?
taste. Give us a taste about who Ruth is.
A teaser. Some hors d'oeuvres.
Yes.
So I am a 24-year-old trans woman from Tennessee. I'm currently living in Cambridge in a nice little fortress of lesbians. None of us are quite lesbians. Most of us are bi, but it sounds better.
No, yeah, Fortress of Lesbians sounds way cooler.
The Fortress of Lesbians is a really good
it sounds like
name.
an 80s like softcore porn novella, you know?
But see, I don't like that one as much.
I think it sounds like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like a motherfucking like Fortress of Lesbians. Like, yeah, bitch.
It is a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah, I can only picture your apartment being made of crystalline structures at that point, though. If it's like the Fortress of
It obviously isn't Austin. So I mean,
obviously the Fortress of Lesbian technology there is it blends into its environment whenever it needs to, but like its underlying structure is a crystalline, technologically advanced structure that fits in to whenever it needs to.
I can tell you this apartment is not nearly as advanced as you'd like to believe.
I want like code, like I want like passwords. I want like multiple doors to like go up like this, like you do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'd love that too, but it's just simply not the case.
We can dream like one day.
The Fortress of Lesbians is severely underfunded.
Yeah, it really is.
Into the fortress.
People, they should just.
They had to implement some austerity measures.
Yeah. I mean, it's the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it's this recession's really hitting everybody.
Yes.
But it's gonna bounce back. We will recover. We're all in this together, guys.
Okay, John Larkey, High School Musical. Jesus. We're all in this together. God.
I've not seen High School Musical.
Okay, Troy Bolton. Jesus.
Liar.
You know, if anybody hasn't seen High School Musical, I would say John hasn't seen High School Musical.
Really?
That checks. That checks
I don't
out.
believe it. There was some hesitation. I don't trust it.
It takes bite of food.
I'm so embarrassed by having seen High School Musical. I have to lie. Like,
You have to lie about it?
I haven't seen it.
All right,
I
so
used
yeah.
to do that. I used to do that. I did that in middle school. Like people would be like, "Do you like Hillary Duff?" And I'm like, "I don't even know who that is." And I loved Hillary Duff.
Yeah, who
great.
didn't?
I mean, I think the thing about watching High School Musical, at least like, so I sort of can deduce how old you are, Helen, based on something that was discussed earlier.
Yes.
I also know how old Austin is.
Yes.
So I feel like me and Helen, we were pretty young whenever High School Musical came out, like, but not super young, you know, like middle school age. But you all, I feel like you were like solidly in high school whenever it came out. So it just
No.
you had to be.
I need to know. Maybe
we
were.
I was in high school.
Were you in high school, John? But you are older than me.
Yes. Yeah, but like a year.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, so you're still older than me, you fucking asshole. Yeah, I guess I was in high school. Yeah. Shit. Yeah. So yeah. That makes
Maybe
sense.
you should be embarrassed. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm sorry. I was in high school watching High School Musical.
Yeah.
You should be embarrassed for watching it when you were too young.
Embarrassed.
It wasn't meant
I'm sorry.
for you. It was meant
did
for
you guys?
me,
Did you
the guy
guys
in high
relate
school.
to it watching it in middle school? Huh?
Yeah, you didn't even know what high school was.
It was an education on what it was going to be,
Yeah.
or I thought.
And what it could be.
My high school was nowhere near. Yeah.
Wait, John, were you about to say that your high school was nowhere near what was in High School Musical because you've actually seen High School Musical?
I haven't seen a High School Musical,
Oh, we caught you in a lie.
but no, I haven't seen. I was just gonna say, like, I saw someone get stabbed in my high school parking lot. I imagine that doesn't that doesn't happen. And
But
like,
it does happen after the big game. You know, they like lose the basketball game and Zac Efron's character and Troy Bolton
gets fucking stabbed.
Yeah. Well, no, Zac Efron is Troy Bolton. Shit. I always forget.
I was about to say.
No, it's Fight Club. Zac Efron he stabs his himself.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Like
So
a
we've now
samurai
spoiled two
50%.
movies.
yeah, I would if that was High School Musical, I'd watch the shit out of that.
No, I wasn't talking about you spoiling High School Musical. I was talking about you spoiling Fight Club.
Oh, Fight Club. Yeah. Oh, I mean, if you haven't seen Fight Club at this point, I don't feel bad. You know.
Ruth, let's get back to you and talking about you.
Sorry,
You just go on a long fucking High School Musical tangent.
I'm queer myself. I wouldn't really quite call myself a lesbian, especially given a lot of my history. Certainly not all of it. But who would give up a name like that? I mean, I write poetry and some prose.
John writes poetry. John's a big poem guy.
Yeah, I haven't written anything as of late, but it's a. Do you do slam at all?
I have, like 2019, early 2020, in Boston at least.
Yeah, I got to know a couple people in the scene.
Yeah, because wasn't your like fucking thesis was like a poetry thing?
My creative writing honors thesis was like a collection of poems, and they're all like Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, please talk about it more. It's really getting me going.
It's good. It's good for.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruth. Maybe you can identify, maybe not. But like, it's like when you write something and then you look back at years later, and then you just see just kind of like you kind of like
Is that you like masturbating? The sound that you make when you masturbate?
No, Austin. He's talking about cringing.
Well, I cringe sometimes when I finish.
Yeah.
You stole what I was going to say. You're all too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, you like look back at your former self and you're like, God damn it, fuck, I was so whiny.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't whine much about myself in public life. So poetry at times has been an outlet, but it's always so well, it is masturbatory, really. I mean, a lot of the times, and that it's like, okay, like I've had these deep feelings, and even if they don't relate to anyone else, or even if they don't relate to me in the future, it feels good just to have that moment of catharsis. And that's something I've been trying to move away from. It's just things that only feel good in the moment. In terms of poetry, there are plenty of other things.
Like, I can relate to that. There's a lot of things that feel good in the moment that I indulge in, but I don't know if they're necessarily like good for me.
The best things,
but they're fun. Hee.
Yeah, junk food for the soul,
Junk food for the soul. Yep.
Yeah, it's called junk dick.
Junk dick. Junk dick. Yo, you got that junk dick.
Yeah, I really need a bag of junk dick right now. Like, I just need to
Yo, you gotta jump on this junk dick.
Okay, that jump on that junk.
That junk dick. Sorry.
$.
I apologize.
Can you tell us about your type, please?
I had a problem, like probably the year or so before quarantine, of just like hooking up with whoever wanted to hook up with me. As long as they were like, I found them attractive. So I didn't really cultivate a type. But then I realized that the people who I had been dating had been exclusively like really scrawny artists with a little bit of facial hair, or like punks.
Yes.
So like bohemians.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
like a different type of bohemian, right?
It is. It's like, I know, you know what I'm talking about.
I was like, girl, you're singing my song. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, art house.
Like, there are a few good ones. I dated one really good person who's like was within my type, like lanky or like life, one of the two. But then of course, like he fled to France because
he was of that type.
He was of that type. Because if you're rich in that type, that's what you do. If you're poor in that type,
I do like. Yeah, John picked up on that. I do like how you use the verb fled. He
fled to France.
He fled to France.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, he was trying to go there for his whole time. Oh, it was sort of a mess because like this whole time we had like a slow build up. Like, like before the pandemic, it was normally like first date. I'd have sex. And things would start to escalate from there, or just in there. But with this person, like he and I just sort of went on a few dates, and then just sort of letting things go a little bit slowly. And then out of nowhere, his visa was accepted to France. And so we had like one night where we carved a pumpkin. We hung out, and then we started having sex, but he had to leave to go somewhere. And so we didn't get to like finish or anything.
The pumpkins or the sex?
What?
The pumpkins or the sex?
Oh, the pumpkin got done. It was
okay.
It was gorgeous. I remember this is one of my good quips of like, we were like making out, and he asked me like, or I asked him what he was doing later. And he was like, I'm not really sure. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, do you want to do me? because we hadn't had sex yet, and it was just like a nice little thing. And then he went to this like social distance gathering, like for people to tell him bye. And one of his friends had a breakdown. So we ended up not hanging out later. And then later that week when we were supposed to hang out, like Macron did the like announcement that like France's borders were shut down. And so like he had to go earlier than expected. And so we never got to see each other again. But more importantly, we never actually got to have sex. And
tragic.
And, you know, like the relationship, as it were.
That's why I fuck on the first date always. I always be giving it up on the first date because you never know what's gonna happen. I always
never know when they might
fly to France.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I usually do, but it's different in like, you know, these times.
Yes, no, I'm sure. No, that's like the response.
Hold on, Helen says I'm sure, as in she doesn't know that she doesn't do that still herself. She's saying I'm sure, as in like in America, because Helen's over in Europe. She's like, it's fine here. You can just do that.
Not fine there.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god, you guys, have you guys ever brought sex toys through airport security?
My only sex toy is a hand carved wooden dildo. So I have traveled with it, but
I love it. So artisanal.
It's
so
artisanal. It's so beautiful. People, they probably wouldn't even know what it was. It's so beautiful, but
you're amazing.
It doesn't set anything off, you know.
Is it? I'm assuming it has to be sealed. I mean, sealed isn't like because it's wood. Like, is it just sanded really well, or what?
I could show it. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So this is for the handful of viewers at home, you get to see Ruth's wooden dildo. For everybody else, if you want, this is a good time to say you should pay for the Patreon. You can see things like people's wooden dildos and Helen's face when she does funny things.
Now, did you carve it yourself? Because that'd be very badass.
All right. So it is. I was the first person to buy from this shop on Etsy. I don't remember its name. But it is.
Oh, no plug.
Maple.
Whoa.
I love that.
Oh my god, it's so
beautiful.
It's varnished really well, so unless it gets like a major crack, it's gonna be fine. It's double-ended, and it's really beautiful.
The shape is amazing too.
It's gorgeous.
So perfect.
It doesn't even look like wood. It's just wow.
Yeah, it looks like sandstone or something.
Yeah,
but it doesn't cause splinters. Everyone like asks about that.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, you wouldn't.
Are you tearing your asshole up?
Yeah. You know it.
In different ways. I love that.
Asshole be teared up.
Is it a good masturbation session if there isn't just a little bit of blood at least? Come on.
Yeah, it's not like
yeah.
Was it pain and pleasure? Just two sides of the same coin.
So you already told us like how you identify and stuff like that, and you told us about your type for the people you usually go for. What has like dating been like for Ruth?
It's really complicated. I think mostly because I'm trans. There aren't very many, like since I've transitioned, there haven't been a lot of, random hookups, not aided by, apps or anything, just because it's sort of dangerous, and there's always sort of the lack of knowledge. Whereas if someone reaches out to me on like Tinder, I at least like can sense that they're aware, because I try to make it as obvious as possible, even though people are dumb. Like people are so dumb. Like I used to very explicitly, now like I just say trans witch girl, which is to me pretty explicit, but sometimes I have to explain it. But I used to say that I was, like the first sentence said that I was a Southern transplant and trans girl, and then looking for blank. And there have been at least 3 people who I've hooked up with who had no idea I was trans.
Like what trans was?
That didn't know I was trans.
Even though it explicitly said it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like, I remember there was this one guy I was hooking up with. We went out to get drinks, and then we went back to my apartment. And during this entire encounter, like he had no idea I was trans. I don't know how. I talk about it all the time. I don't try to like hide it or anything. But he had no idea. So we had protected sex.
Right.
He didn't say anything, and then afterwards he mentioned like he didn't know I was trans, and I was like, "Is that all right?" He was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "I really like having unprotected sex. Could we have unprotected sex?" And I was like, "No." And then he left, and then he messaged me later, being like, like I just didn't make my sexuality very clear, and
Yeah.
and I was just like, you sort of did make it really actually explicitly clear, extremely clear. You just like went back on it, which is like, what the fuck ever.
Yeah, when you couldn't get what you wanted, then it was like, oh, actually,
right. Yeah,
my sexuality is actually this. Like, because you couldn't get the one thing you wanted, you fucking selfish boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It sounds like he's pretty confused and he's having a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
actually,
I mean, that sounds like pretty much every man and every excuse for every single action that they do that hurts women, right?
It's like a hard time.
Which is like also something I realized like too while dating is that no man's gonna like treat me like shit. Which like I've dated a lot of people in Boston of people who treat me like shit. No man is just gonna decide on themselves to do better. Like I have to be the person to be like, hey, I'm done. Like, I gotta get out. Because it's so easy. Like I find myself like, like I'm pretty okay, like not being in a relationship, but when I'm in a relationship, I find myself just really attached to that relationship. And it's not like a jealousy thing. Like I've been exclusively in open relationships. It's just like, like if I have a deep connection with someone, anyone, like I want to maintain that. And oftentimes men will take advantage of that because again, they're dumb.
You mentioned you were like, there were always open relationships. Is that like for you, does that just mean like like it's an open relationship, or are you like, is it more polyamory as well, where it's like multiple relationships?
I always at first mistook open relationships to mean polyamorous, like, because like my first relationship was polyamorous, but I've gotten into some relationships since, where it's sort of been clear that they were supposed to be open and not polyamorous, but like, of course that wasn't discussed.
Can you kind of go into detail for for our listeners, just kind of what that distinction is?
Yeah. So for me, like open relationships can mean like any fucking thing. People use it so vaguely these days that it really differs from person to person. Polyamory typically means that like, you can fall in love with multiple people, you can date multiple people, you can have a number of significant partners, of the same level. There doesn't really have to be a primary partner. Sometimes there is. But then open relationships, like for some people, it's just like you can have sex outside of the relationship, but still you have this one primary partner who you are romantically involved with, even if you're sexually involved with other people. And some people use open relationship just to mean like a polyamorous relationship. So, I mean, that's sort of has been my understanding.
I want to ask you like what you're looking for in a partner and like what you want for yourself in the future and like what kind of partnership do you want and like also what kind of partner do you want to be?
Helen's trying to date you, so she wants to know. She wants to know all the things so she can get it right.
I've already dated someone from Spain and it didn't really go that well. So.
Were they Spanish?
Yeah. Well, Basque.
Yeah, of course.
It was great, but also like it was the open poly distinction.
Of course. Yeah, sounds about right.
For what I want in myself, because that's what I can work with first, is I want, to make my desires more clear and explicit. I want to advocate for myself more. I want to pick up on red flags as soon as possible.
Don't we all? Sorry.
John just said, "Don't we all?"
I know. Well, it's like I do. I pick them up. Like I had a really bad relationship at the start of quarantine, and I kept talking to my friends, being like, "I can't believe this just happened. Like it's a month in, and this person told me that he loved me, or it's a month in, and this person like is like just being like really too attached or being like really distant all of a sudden. Like it's just like red flags. Like I do pick up on them, but I'm just like, oh,
It's acting. I totally understand that, Ruth. It's the difference between picking up on them and then doing something actionable about it. Like
exactly.
Like you can pick up the flag, right, and then just be like, oh, like what do I do with this? Look at this. This is
throw it
neat.
over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's
This
just
is a
like
red flag.
Back to where it was.
Yeah.
like this is pretty. This will look nice on my windowsill.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I just like. I'm gonna do it. I mean, and I have been like, just like, you know, like second dates aren't promised. Third dates aren't promised. And
First dates aren't promised.
First dates aren't promised.
Yeah, it depends on who you're talking to. Yeah.
Yep.
I have a friend here that gets bailed on all the time. Every single time she like sets up on a date, like they always cancel on her. And I'm like, you need to look at like what they're like, you need to look at the red flags, you know?
Yeah.
Is it nothing is promised, everything is permitted? I forget what is that from? Is that the Matrix? I have no idea.
Is that the Matrix? Yeah, no. I mean, Helen, I would say though that like, not to like tangent too hard, but like I feel like a first date and even a second date is when you can like kind of mostly pick up on red flags. So like I've had my fair share of like people like bailing before the first date, and like I wouldn't have known the red flags until I met them in person, or unless we talked a little bit more. Like I had one recently where somebody, we were supposed to go on a first date. We were recording, actually, it was on a Sunday. It was 2 Sundays ago when we were recording the last episode of this podcast. And we were supposed to like hang out. And like she had baked something, and it was like, we were going to hang out like 1 or 1:30. And like we had started recording the podcast late. And I was like, hey, I might be running a little bit late, but like, I think I could still make it on time, like 1 or 1:30, because I'm recording a podcast. And she's like, oh, you were doing something else today? Like
weird.
Yeah?
Fucking weird.
Like, yes. And she's like, well, I don't know how that makes me feel. Like, whatever. I was like, nope, we're good. So like, I mean, I wasn't mean to this person. Like I was like, oh, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, I hope you have like, her cat wasn't feeling well. So I was like, I hope your cat feels better, and they give you good, like, and you like, you get more good snuggles. Like maybe in the future we can talk again. But like, I wasn't like, what the fuck is your problem? Because that's like that's a crazy, like, well, I'm sorry you had other things planned today. Like, yes, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
Like that's
with a life.
Just fucking wait in silence like a good boy.
Yeah, it was like, because she was like, oh, she's like, we can meet whenever. It's totally fine if we have to be. It has to be later or whatever. Like, no rush. And then the moment I said I was doing something else, she was like, oh, okay. Like, so I was like, yeah, red flag. So yeah, it's really when you like, yeah, sometimes you can pick up on those things, but sometimes you can't. I get it.
Yeah. I vet them. Oh my God. I get them out. So like, I've been so good at vetting people. Like, just
welcome to Helen's vlog where she walks around and talks to her camera.
No, but seriously. So I don't drink. I don't drink, but I don't care if my partner drinks, but I can't like, I don't want to date people that like depend on alcohol to like have fun or to have a conversation. Like for social settings. Like I just don't want to like even with that person. Like I just don't want anything to do with like drunk assholes. Yeah. So if I'm like, this happens to me all the time. I'm like, hey, how are you? How's your day? And then they'll text me like, hey, I'm drunk. Like they'll do something like that. And I'll be like estoy, you know, like they'll say it in Spanish, like estoy borracho. And then I'll be like, cool, done. I don't text them back. I literally don't even text them back because I know that that's not what I want. And so I just like get them out fucking real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. You know, our usual fan favorite topics, what people come here to see. Sorry. Ruth, do you like, what are some like crazy dates or sexual experiences that you've had, like that are like wild, that are funny, that are weird, memorable in some way?
I could go on and fucking on. However, I sort of do need to take like a very short break because I have to go to the bathroom.
Yes. So, listeners, go take a break. John, I was going to do this as like a Patreon break.
Yeah.
We do the magic of editing, and then you can come back and tell your stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
No editing. Just do a long pause.
Long pause. This is the long pause right now.
Intermission.
Right now is a good time for the Patreon, right, John?
Yeah, Helen, what's a Patreon?
Money, 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 money. It's where you give us money.
And we fucking
you
suck your dick.
And we give you some special party time.
Helen will send you titty pics, and Austin will send you pictures of his whole butthole, his entire butthole, and then John
Not
will just send
3/4
you
of a butthole.
the
Just
entire butthole. Cheeks are spread. You'll see my whole asshole. And John, what will you send?
Window into my soul.
John will send you a window into his soul, and by that he means a picture of his dick, but his bush is so big you can't even see his dick. Like that's what John will send you.
My permed dick.
Your perm dick. This is like some like level. What the fuck's that movie? Oh my god, this is like some the Zohan. This is like some Zohan shit right there. The hit
guys.
Adam Sandler movie. Don't mess with the Zohan.
What? Never seen it.
What? You haven't seen? Don't mess with it. You need to watch it. That movie's fucking lit. Oh my god,
it's questionable, but
no, John, it is bad, and it's
Patreon.
so bad it's good.
If any questions, please check out our Patreon at Austin. What's the Patreon?
You slide into my podcast.com. Again, that's slide into my podcast.com. You can find all the information there. We use Patreon to pay for hosting costs, right? We have to pay for the domain name. We have to pay for hosting the podcast. We have to pay for equipment. We pay for sometimes like funny videos that we make. One time we paid for, we got purred happily from Parks and Recreation to leave Georgina and have us, but like have an amazing video message for us. Like we use that money for fun, and we invest it all back into the podcast for you, so you guys love the content you have. And we honestly, we really appreciate the people that have stuck by us as we were on our long hiatus. That's people like Ames, Garrett, Kara, Janice, Alex, who's been there from day one, Garrett, Nicole, Paul, and of course, our favorite Stixie617, TikTok superstar, who's been, supporting us for a very long time as well. So we thank all you guys so much. Literally, we without Patreon, we couldn't do the podcast, and we thank the people that support us. And we understand the people that couldn't support us anymore because of the pandemic. We totally understand. Like, money's tight. We totally get it. But yeah, so yeah, for a minimum of $24 a year, $2 a month, you can help this podcast a lot. Like, it does a lot. So thank you guys so much. Let's get back to the episode.
Do they have guacamole in Spain? Yeah?
Yes, we have guacamole in Spain. God damn it.
All right.
I'm sick of you asking.
All right. So tell us some crazy sex stories, some weird stuff, some interesting stuff, some memorable stuff. I know you said you had a lot of stories to tell, but let's hear some of the highlights, some of the best ofs.
Like I've done BDSM stuff in the past. Like it was mostly with people who I was more comfortable with, and also not really anything sort of high stakes. And there was someone who I matched with on Tinder long ago. It's probably like a year and a half ago. Time doesn't exist. And like I was really hesitant, but I decided we talked beforehand. We talked about some safety stuff, and we got into the scene pretty quick. And a few moments later, I was, tied down, and just a lot of stuff was happening, in a way, and like using a lot of stuff that like I wasn't familiar with. It was like subbing on a completely different scale than I was used to. It was really just new, and it just somehow it made a lot of things click for me, not just sexually, but like in like male female dynamics, and the dynamics specifically between like a sub and a dom, and how like a sub in some ways is like sort of dominant in a way, like by allowing things to happen, by having this sort of force of will, something that goes against their very nature in a lot of ways. Whereas like a dom is just like giving into their base instincts, giving into the pleasures of the flesh of the sub. The sub is like this, just has this sort of cavalierness about them in a way. That's the wrong word.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. I literally had this conversation the other night with my sub because I'm also newly into BDSM, and like I was talking to them and I was like, isn't it crazy that like even though I'm the dom, like you like at the drop of the safe word, you you literally have all of the power. Like you literally at the end of the day, like the sub has, at least for me, has like all of the power to make things stop whenever they want. And I think it's yeah, there is so much power in letting somebody do that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And I think it goes beyond the safe word. It's the whole course of the action. The whole course of the action is, to the sub, is almost like kind of acting in a way. I just find it so fascinating, so interesting. And that was probably the moment when I felt it most. And it also clicked for like other sexual scenarios with men that weren't necessarily sub and dom, but like a lot of times like dynamics between men and women, like the women take on a more submissive role.
I wanted to add on to something that Ruth said. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, right? I'm like, if we're talking about sub, and I'm like, hey, daddy, can I say something? And like, I love this topic. I think it's super, I think BDSM is super interesting because I don't think it's, I think you learn a lot about society and yourself and relationships with others. And like everything that you said, I was like, yes, because it's really amazing. Like, I also do feel like I have some of those dynamics in my sexual relationships as well. And because I'm exploring like that world. And I do feel like I'm acting sometimes. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I had like a long conversation about like, because I have there's always a lot of open communication with like my sub too. Like there's like a lot of conversations and like stuff. We have a lot of conversations about it. So trying to make sure like where we're at and how we're doing and stuff like that. And it is like, it is performative for subs in a way. Some like a lot of times it's like, it's this, but she asked me specifically, she was like, how do you do it? It's like, what? She's like, how do you do the things that you do? She's like, it seems so unlike you, but it's also just, she's like, it's just so extreme. Like, how do you get yourself in that mindset?
You magnificent bastard. How do you do it?
No, it wasn't like, oh, how do you do it? But it's like, how do you do that? Like, almost like it's like, you know what I mean? So we could talk forever about, and by we, I mean, probably Ruth and I and Helen. John seemed to be bored a little bit. He was just looking at Reddit. Yeah, John was just looking at Reddit, being a really good host.
My cat, I'm withdrawing from coffee, but no, it was a good conversation. And it wasn't on Reddit, Austin. I just sent you that screenshot. Go just have saved.
Yeah, I texted John to get his attention, and he just responded with a screenshot of a baby Yeti in like doll's clothes. It was gross.
I mean, there was the story of like my actual like first real sexual encounter, which is sort of fun. It's sort of terrible in a fun way, not in a bad way at all.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Terrible, not in a bad way. So like, this was pre-transition. This is before I'd ever had sex. I was certainly a late bloomer. I didn't start like masturbating or anything until I was 17. I didn't really know anything about sex. I grew up in a very strictly like socially conservative household. And so when I went to college, at a small liberal arts college that was very queer friendly, I just like basically went there like wanting to explore my sexuality more. And by that, I mean, I really wanted to get fucked. But I had so much self-doubt, so little self-confidence that like I couldn't really like get myself in the scene until like the second half of my freshman year, when I really started to like piece things together, piece aspects of my identity together, and explore things more fluidly. And I went to a party, a queer party, and I got all dressed up, as you do. Like I went that night being like, I'm going to have sex with someone. I'm going to have sex with someone. I want to have sex with someone. I'm going to have sex with someone. And so I was dancing around fairly provocatively. which is just like how I dance. I dance either like a witch or like a enchantress, but either way, very sultry. And eventually some guy like came up to me, who like was like bi. I later learned he's sort of like a little bit weird about his sexuality, but that's fine. But we really started going at it on the dance floor, and we decided to go back to like my place because turns out he was too uncomfortable because of his like sweet roommate situation, whatever. And so we go back to my room because my roommate was supposed to be gone, but he wasn't. He was still there. And I asked him if like I could have a few minutes, like, and he like just wasn't getting it, like what was happening, and like also he didn't have to. And so like I was like, there has to be somewhere. There has to be somewhere. There has to be somewhere we can have sex. And like so we walked around like the dorm, like every place we could to find some place sort of out of sight. And we ended up going to the basement, which was like disgusting, unfinished. Like it was like concrete floor, and like there was like schoolroom brick walls everywhere, and there was graffiti everywhere. And like even that, like that's where the laundry was. So we had to go further back, and we ended up going to this like little chicken wire room in the back. And like there was this like, it was like a fucking chicken coop. And like in this little room back there is like newspaper scattered on the floor, and a dishwasher, like an unused dishwasher just there. And like I went to pretty prestigious, fancy, expensive school, but there's still like some fucking shit there. And we were just like, this is it. Like, this is it. And like, we started making out, and he sort of gestured me down, and I gave him head for the first time. And then like,
was that the first time you'd ever given head?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever done anything except like make out with friends.
Wow.
But the thing is, because of how nasty the floor was, instead of like being on my knees, like which would be comfortable, I squatted the whole time. So like it was just like,
oh man,
it was an experience. And then we went to like actually have sex. He was taller than me. There was nothing really to lean on except for this pole, so I had to grab onto this pole. I was on my tippy toes, like, and then like he didn't last that long, which is probably honestly for the best.
Yeah, for the best.
He didn't like try to get me off or anything. Sort of sucks.
Boo.
I hate that. What the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of sucked. Then I never saw him again until I talked with him on Grindr a little while later, and I gave him head, and he came in like 2 seconds. Oh, and that time we had sex, that second time, like I gave him head at least. Like it was in like
not a chicken coop. Yeah.
It was like in a little nature path. So it was like all, and he wasn't into public sex. He just really didn't want anyone to know he was having sex with someone that wasn't a cis woman.
It's like, right. Okay. Yeah. This sounds like, this sounds like a freshman hookup. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, it's like our roommates here. We got to go the fucking chicken. We got to go the chicken wire. And it's just awkward, but it's, you put it out there in the world and you got it.
Yeah.
Ruth, can I tell you?
You manifested it.
The first guy I ever gave head to put on a condom while I was while I was giving him head. Like he put on a condom.
Okay, I must say, as a health educator, that's actually good sexual practice, because you can get gonorrhea and chlamydia in your throat, or like
we've talked about this many times as somebody who's gotten chlamydia of the throat myself. Yes.
I mean, Austin, how many dicks you've been sucking?
Only one, but this was from going down on a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
dental dams.
You gotta get that dental dam in there. Yeah.
We're not. Yeah. I've never used a dental dam.
No one's used a dental dam, Helen. That's the point. No one has ever used a dental dam. We kept trying to give them out to people. No one wants a fucking dental dam. They don't give a shit. No one wants to wear a condom.
I want to be the publicist for dental dams. I want to be
Please
the
do.
publicist.
This podcast.
We're
Make it.
dental dams.
I mean,
guys.
like first step would be to change the name.
Yeah, first step we need to change the name. Second step is it's going to be in our new $15 a month Patreon.
We'll send you dental dams.
You get access to everything. You get to be in a live Zoom meeting with us and hang out with us, and you also get a dental dam in the mail.
It
Regardless
sounds
of what genitalia you have. You
like
get
a piece.
Anyone can use the dental dam.
and it's for everything.
Eat ass. People
Dental
eat fucking ass, which is great.
Can we?
Eating ass is great.
You can do it on the asshole.
Why would you fucking not? Why would you not?
Can we?
Why
I mean,
would you
can
not
we
use
think
it
of like
to say on an
alternative
asshole so
names?
you
Because
don't
like
know
dental
how
dam
clean they are or anything like
I
that.
want to try that.
makes it
Because
seem like
I'm
it's a
afraid
piece
to
of
eat
dentistry equipment.
Asshole of men.
Yeah, Helen
Like-
loves eating ass, so she needs dental dams.
I want to try it.
Helen, you need to subscribe to our podcast. Subscribe to the Patreon. We'll give you a dental dam.
I want to try eating ass. Okay.
Helen's so excited about dental dams now. Ruth, you've gotten one convert to dental dams. Congratulations.
It's my joy. It's my honor. I've never used one. I'm advocating it for as a health educator, not as a sexual agent.
It's good. Yeah, it's good practice.
Yeah.
Do
It's
as
like
I say. Do as I preach, not as I
Yeah,
As I
it's like,
do?
whatever.
As I practice. Do as I preach and as I practice. Yeah.
Ruth, what is your definition of love?
I don't know. It's just like in a very intense, bonded connection between two people. I make personally virtually no distinction between romantic and platonic love or familial love. I think they all like exist within the same spectrum. But it's sort of, like that deep bond that makes things worthwhile, that makes life worth living. And that doesn't mean like right now I don't have like a romantic partner or anything, but I still get plenty of love in my life. Love is sort of alchemical in that it can change and transform you and make you happy when you see someone changing and transform. And it can be a very destructive emotion at its worst because of how powerful it is. But at its best, it can be, I shouldn't even call it an emotion as much as an action, a power, some indescribable thing. But like at its best, love can be just so transformative, so positive. It can really make you truly reframe the way you think about the world. I feel like so many people like only really allow themselves to experience deep love romantically. And I'm so happy that I've allowed myself to experience that love for my friends, for my family members. And that level of intimacy is just really important and really potent.
Yeah, like when you said love is what makes life worth living.
I really do believe that. And I don't mean that if someone ever said romantic love is what makes life worth living, to me, that's a horrendous red flag. But love.
Yeah.
Love.
Some Disney bullshit.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, we're pro dental dam and anti Disney. Fuck Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney hates dental dams.
Disney hates dental dams. A nice tongue twister you say before when we're warming up for the podcast. Disney hates dental dams.
Disney hates dental dams.
Disney hates dental dams. Disney hates dental dams.
This is the final question. This is pretty much, this will determine our personal friendship.
Oh wow!
Don't
no!
try Stack the
No.
jury. Fuck it.
All right, so hold on. No, it does not. Don't let her lead you astray. That's some leading questions right there.
Like
What?
that's objection,
What do
Your
you
Honor.
Yeah,
What are you
objection
talking
to the high
about?
court of the podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ruth, the three of us. Fuck, marry, kill.
Mary, Helen, I guess I'm going to Spain.
Yes.
Get married.
Yes. We're going to the altar, people.
Who's dying?
I know who it's gonna be.
So see, like, it would be much more complicated if I had never like met. It would be much easier. It would be a more complicated
here it
decision
goes.
if I never like met Austin in the flesh and had a conversation.
Yeah.
And like,
How would you do it?
what?
How would you kill me?
Yeah.
How would you fucking kill me, Ruth? Look me in the eye and tell me.
I would just give you a nice sedative in your coffee that you're about to drink.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you would just
Just
slip
eat it.
into unconsciousness and then die, and it would be very peaceful. And
Yeah.
it would be great. And it would be so begrudgingly that I had to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure,
so-
like, perhaps if I had met you in person,
So considerate.
that maybe I wouldn't be so
It's just, this is how the dice landed,
laissez-faire about killing you. But unfortunately, this is how the dice just landed.
That's just the way it is.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
All right. So thank you, Ruth, for coming on to our podcast.
Of course.
Thank you,
We
thank you, thank you.
appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for listening. If you want to subscribe to our podcast or find any information about our social medias, like our Instagram or our Patreon, where you can donate money to help support us, you can find all that information on slideintomypodcast.com. And if you just can't donate money right now, because we get it, like times are tough. John, what's the best thing people can do?
Tell your friends and family.
Yeah, tell your friends and family and leave us a review on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts.
Socially distanced, though, of course.
Yeah, tell your friends and family over Zoom. So, John, do you have any final words for our listeners?
Just reach out to your loved ones.
Yeah, what's your sign off, Helen?
Keep sucking dicks and licking clits.
Yep.
That's what I say when people are like, "Oh, are you dating that guy?" And I'm like, "No, we're just sucking dicks and licking clits. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing here. Bye."
Bye.